We are now on Iready Writing Lesson 4, Step 5, Draft Your Essay, Point 2. Second half of Step 5, okay? So, here we go. We are now going to be on page 112 in your Iready writing book, and I'm sure that you guys already have that wide open, and you guys have your pencils and you're ready to go, and your brain's on, and you gotta pay attention to my voice and listen to this as closely as possible, because this will help you. Trust me, trust me, trust me. It says at the top, draft your body. Please follow along with me as usual. Remember that as you write your essay, you will develop your ideas with examples that include quotations. Now, had we been in class a little bit longer this week, we would have done more stuff on quotations. We'll try to get some in next week. A quotation is one or more words copied directly from the story and set between quotation marks. Here are the two ways to use quotations. Two ways. You have to set up the quotation. Okay, you're going to use, like it says up there at the top, remember that as you write your essay, you will develop your ideas with examples that include quotations. Now, in the other stories, we had to develop our ideas and we had to get examples from the text. And again, that's kind of what we're going to be doing, except this is a story, so we have to get examples from the story. And in the story, people are interacting. So you have to get those quotations from the story, not just when they're interacting, but something that you want to analyze, okay? All right, so when we set up the quotation, we're reading again. Provide a description or analysis before the quotation to tell readers what the idea that the quotation supports. For example, look down here at the bottom. He sneezed so hard that he blew the house down by accident. And here's the quotation part. That's when my nose started to itch, he says. I felt a sneeze coming on. Now you see how they have the quotation parts, okay? But they had to set it up. The writer, Philip Yee, had to set up those quotations. It'll become more natural. We'll do some down here below, okay? And then you have to insert the quotation. Integrate, that means include your own words with words from the story. For example, down below it says, when we first met him, the wolf is making a birthday cake for his, here's the quotation part, dear old granny. All right. Now, hopefully to help you have this make sense, we're going to look down here at the excerpt from the wolf's side of the story that Philip Yee has written for us. It says, note the underlying details and complete the activities to learn how the quotations support the writer's idea, just like we're going to try and do with our story, okay? Okay, the wolf, let's read this together. The wolf has the same explanation for what happened when he visited the house made of sticks. He describes the events of this encounter as an accident, which again shows that he didn't mean to hurt anybody. He probably would have said the same thing about the third house, but it was too strong to be taken down by a sneeze. The wolf explains that he only tried to break down the door because the pig inside had made a rude comment about his granny. Now, I'm usually a calm fellow, the wolf says, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. From the wolf's point of view, he had every right to try to break down the door. In his version of the events, the wolf presents himself as completely innocent. He never changes his belief that the original story is all wrong and that his reputation is unfairly earned. Again, great writing. Philip, you did a great job. So, number one, let's look at number one. It says, read the underlined quotation. In what way does the writer use this quotation in his paragraph? Well, the underlying quotation says, now, I'm usually a calm fellow, the wolf says, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. So that's the underlying part. In what way does the writer use this quotation in his paragraph? How does he use that? I would say probably that the writer um, tries to set up the quotation with trying to analyze why the wolf broke down the door. And when you're trying to analyze where the wolf broke down the door, that quotation supports that analysis. See, from the wolf's point of view, he had every right to try to break down the door. And a lot of that beforehand was kind of the setup to that quote, wasn't it? Okay. So what I just said, I'm going to let you put in your own words right there, okay? That's for number one. I'm sure you're going to have... If you need to go back and listen to what I said again, that's fine. Pause, go forward, pause, go forward. The beauty of watching these videos. Because I'm moving on to number two. It says, underline another example of a quotation in the mentor text and explain why you think the writer chose to use the quotation in this way. A little bit similar to the last question. So what we have to underline another example of a quotation in the mentor text. Explain why you think the writer chose to use the quotation in this way. It's not hard to find the other quotations. So if you just scan down there, you will see where it says that the original story is all wrong. All right? So let's underline where it says all wrong, because that's the other quotation in the mentor text. But now we have to explain why you think the writer chose to use the quotation in this way. What is the wolf trying to say here? I would say the words all wrong. They tell us an important idea of the wolf's point of view. He really believes he was innocent in all of this, and he says the original story is all wrong. Okay, so the writer used this quotation to provide our text evidence. There's our text evidence, okay, that supports the analysis of why the wolf's point of view, he has every right to do what he's doing. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, you know the drill. Message me. I don't get it. Or raise your hand and say, yeah, not too clear on this, okay? Please, pretty please ask me questions. I appreciate questions. But now we're moving on to page 113 for the guided practice. And on the guided practice, it has Sweet Tea, our guy, Sweet Tea. I don't know why they come up with these names. I mean, Luna, I get Luna, I understand that, but Sweet Tea, really? Okay, anyhow. Sweet Tea used his notes to write the draft below. So he's writing the same kind of draft that you guys are going to be writing. Now, he must find ways to further develop his ideas. So let's read what Sweet Tea has done. Let's kind of steal Sweet Tea's ideas. So Sweet Tea's chart here says Encounter 1, Meeting in the Ocean. He's got the quotations and the analysis of the quotation, just like you guys have done in your chart, okay? Your analysis chart. And then you have Sweet Tea's draft over here. This is part of what Sweet Tea has written about the story, the girl with the rainbow skin. So he says, the Teleote's first meeting with the humans shows that she feels superior to them. And when the girl insults her, she feels defensive. This encounter makes her feel an emotion I have never experienced before, one that makes me hot and tense inside. The Teleote does not like the humans and does not feel good about their interaction. Good job, Sweet Tea. All right, so what do we have to do here? Our next assignment here is number 3. Read the underlined sentence in Sweet Tea's draft. How can Sweet Tea improve this sentence with a quotation from his notes and explain your answer? So let's read this underlined sentence in Sweet Tea's draft. And it says, when the girl insults her, she feels defensive. Right? Yes, she does. All right, how can Sweet Tea improve this sentence with a quotation from his notes? When the girl insults her, she feels defensive. So over here we find it says, "How dare an organic say that about me? She is the one with the dry, dull skin that does nothing but cover her body like an envelope." Sweet Tea could have used that quotation in there, in that sentence, in that to weave that into the sentence, or at least to use that sentence to build up to that quotation. But that could be, you could put that in there, right? Just add the quotation. How dare an organic say that about me? Right? This gives evidence that the teleote feels defensive. There's your evidence right there. When the girl insults her, she feels defensive. The evidence says right there, harumph, how dare that normal organic say that about me? Very good. Number 4. Underline the sentence in Sweet Tea's draft that includes a quotation. Do you think Sweet Tea uses this quotation successfully? And if so, explain your answer. Even if not, explain your answer. So underline the sentence in Sweet Tea's draft that includes the quotation. Let's see here. The whole sentence. Underline the whole sentence, not just the quotation. So we have to find the quotations and underline that whole sentence. And that's pretty simple because there's only, 3 sentences here? 4? And the one with the quotations in them says, this encounter makes her feel an emotion I have never experienced before, one that makes me hot and tense inside. Underline that for me, please. And then once you do that, I want you to think about that. Does Sweet Tea use this quotation successfully? The hint. Read the hint. The hint says, read the sentence aloud. Does it make sense? Could you improve it? I think you could. So I think what we're going to answer here is no. I don't think Sweet Tea's using this quotation successfully. Could he have set it up properly, or at least better? Could you set it up better? I don't know. Does it flow properly when you say it out loud? I think you could do better. We could all do better. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to say no, and then we're just going to say, explain the answer. I think he could have done better. Right? I think he could have set it up better. I think he could have used more of the quotation or less of the quotation. Whatever you guys think. I'm going to leave that up to you. You're going to have to explain your answer for this one. But I think the answer should be no on this one, okay? So you've underlined the sentence for number 4, and we have determined that this sentence, no, it could be better. But I want you to explain why, okay? Now, this is going to help with our body of text. Now, once you get done with this, we're going to start working on the body of our essay. Now, I'm going to give you guys a day to do that in class because I want to be with you while we're doing this. So this part has to be completed and not trying to catch up in class. Okay? We have a deal? Wonderful. Thank you. Good luck. Get this done. And if you even want to get started on writing your body, you can do that, okay? Just be careful with with making sure that you can find the quotations, and you have to have the evidence um, that's going to support that particular quotation. All right. Good luck. See you later.